Hi, welcome back everybody. It's Debbie from Debbie's Crafty Hands. I hope you're all doing well and having a nice day. I've had a nice relaxing morning so far, and now I'm going to get down to the job in hand. Today we're going to be working with envelopes again, but don't worry, we're not doing the inside, we're working on the corners of the envelopes today. A lovely subscriber has put this suggestion forward for me, so hi and thank you to Rosemary. Appreciate your input on the suggestion. So, corner of an envelope. Technically each envelope has 4 corners, but you can really technically only use 2 if you've already opened it. But if you want to seal the top of it and use the top corners, then that, you know, makes them usable as well. You can also use other materials and just fold a square in half and make yourself a corner, but these are ready-made corners for us, so you might as well make use of them. How big do you want your corner? Well, it depends on how big the book is you're going to be doing. Today I'm going to be bookmarking my lovely cat book that I was very kindly given. And to mark my pages, I need something that's going to come in probably about an inch and a half. So we could come down an inch and a half, inch and a half. Now, for those of you who don't do imperial, an inch and a half is 2.5 centimeters to an inch. So that would be 2.5 plus 1.5 is 4. I think. Let me have a look on my magic board. So 1.5 inches. Sorry, it's 4 centimeters. My maths is not wonderful. I hope my crafting's better. So we want to measure our envelope wherever I put it. Where did I put my envelope? Oh, I folded it up inside my book. That's clever, isn't it? I was going insane then. So I'm going to measure up 1.5 centimeters, inches, sorry. Well, this centimeters and inches business is getting me all confuddled. You measure however big you'd like your corner. That's probably the easiest way. You don't have to do exactly the same as me. I'm just marking the edges so we know where to come from, go to. Now, does that look big enough? No, maybe not. Maybe it needs to be 2.5. 2 inches. Go up a little bit higher. Yeah, 2 inches. I think will be better. Pair of scissors on the floor. No one was harmed in that incident. Only the floor. And it didn't mind. Excuse me, I'm going to dive for it. Right, got them. Put them in my little basket, then they can't go running away again. So now I'm going to mark my diagonal. So if you've got the edges marked, the dots on each edge, then you can run your ruler from one edge to the next edge, and then you've got a nice line to work with. Now you can make them bigger, smaller, however you like. The next corner I'm going to make slightly bigger. I'm going to go up to the marker, the edge of the window, and then that would be like 6 centimeters exactly. So we'll go for centimeters this side. So you can measure roughly what you want it was, measure how high that is, and then do the same the bottom or the other edge. Bring your ruler level with your points and draw your diagonals. So now we have two different sizes to work with. Then you can either cut them with your X-Acto knife, with your wayward scissors, or with the guillotine, whichever is good for you. Cut the corner. A little bit thicker on the edges where it's doubled over, but that gives it a bit of strength. Cut the corner. So now you have a rather strange looking envelope with its bottoms missing. That can be used for other things. So little corner pocket, you could make it into a little birdie beak. Mama, mama. But we're not doing that one today. Your opening will then slot onto the corner of the page and mark up your corner. You can bring it out a little bit, put a dangle on the edge so you can find it more easily, all sorts of things. So let's decorate these, shall we? Both sides need to be decorated potentially. So let's bring in my blue page. We don't get the board all sticky. Now I've got various things to decorate with. You can get some foliage decoration. I'll put that on the bigger one because it will take it better. Or you can use some gems, string of gems. Now most of this stuff is readily available in most craft shops or online. That will go up to there. Then we need to double it over for the other side. Match it up, square for square. Edges. What we're going to do here, let's pop this little end bit off here because that's not got any dye colour on it. Right, these are a bit tricky because they tend to twist around, so you have to get it nice and flat. Corner to corner, so we're going from that on just above this one. A little snip. There you go with that one. There you go with that. But first of all, we want to make them a little, they're a bit plain at the moment. So you want to liven them up a bit. So I have some ideas. Find them. Here we go. Right, sorry about the cellophane. I thought I've got everything out the cellophane, but apparently I didn't. These are just a roll of stickers that I got from a website. Right, we're good. Thank you for that. So they've got little bumblebees on them. As you might have noticed with my tattoo, I do like bumblebees. Bumblebees and cats, and I'm happy. So these have got lovely So any sort of stickers you can find or that you like, they can be part of your decoration. You can always do something similar to what we did on the when we did the mosaic on the envelopes. We did edging the envelope, so we can try that with a coloured pencil or pen or whatever. So we want yellow for bumblebees, don't we? And what colour do we want for the other one? Let's go for the browny colour because that's an earthy colour for the leaves. Okay. Now it's probably easier to do the edging on this if you put your finger inside the opening so that holds it a bit firmer for you. Sure, this pen is working very well. Oh, I think we're getting some colour now.
Have you broken the pen already?
No, I think it's just very old. Would you fish me out a yellow? Different yellow, please. There might be in the tin above you, the long thin one. Well, yeah, that'll do. Thank you. Highlighters come in useful for things other than marking out your paperwork, so handy things to have around. Another way of doing it is just to draw along the edge. If you haven't got a very firm edge to draw along, you can just literally draw around the edges, half on, half off. Make sure you've got a scrap of paper or an old magazine or something underneath. You take the other side of the pen. Yeah, and you can sort of block the corners, round the corners out. Yeah. Now we've done that side, we'll go and do the little bumblebee this side. Now this one's got some pen marks on it, but we can implement them. We can make some patterns out of them. Actually, no, the top black line will be covered up by our little glitter strip. Hopefully the little bit of yellow will show through the edges. So that's that one. Pretty little thing. Right, over here you. I'll get you decorated. Okay. And another nap pen. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go through my pens, I think. Let me have a look to see what else we've got in here. Rustle, rustle, rustle in the drawer. Let's try first. Oh, this one's a nice. This is a juicy one. Got a few fuzzies at the end, so I'm just going to pull them off. End up with the ball. Damp cloth to hand, wipe the ink off my fingers. Corners.
How's the other way of zooming in?
Can do. The technical guy is going to do some zoomies.
Oh no, I mean, I'm thankful.
Oh, right, yes. So, get a better look what I'm doing through the, I was going to say microscope then, but it's a magnifying glass. Where am I? Where am I? Oh, here, there I am. How's that view? We've been experimenting, as you might have noticed in some of our videos, with zooming and panning and such like. Hopefully it didn't make you seasick or travel sick. We're trying to fine-tune our act, so to speak. So any constructive criticism would be most appreciated as to how to go forward with the editing and programming of the episodes. So I've used the bumblebee stickers. Another thing you could use are, I'm just going to move my light out the way again so I can get to it. You can use stamps. So let me find another envelope. Now this stamp, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stamp it on the envelope first so I know what size to cut it. And I can do it on the reverse on the other side. No, I can't. It's a curve of it, isn't it? So I'll find something else to stick on the other side. I've got these ones. I can put them on the other side. Doesn't have to be the same each side, does it? So where's my ink pad? Now, when you're inking up a stamp, it's always best to lay the stamp down and bring the pad to it, so that you've got a lighter touch. You can feel how you're dabbing the ink pad onto the stamp versus where you'll have your ink stamping block is a bit heavy, therefore you might go into the ink a bit deeper and you'll end up with bits on your ink pad. There's a little bit on that corner, but that's be wiped off. So let's go for it. Stamp nice and even. When you're putting a stamp on, you lower it down gently, hold it, don't move it about, otherwise it will smudge. And I usually do a count of about 5 so that gives the ink a chance to seep into the paper. And then lift it directly up, not sideways, and then you should get a reasonable impression. I didn't quite press on those top leaves, so I'm going to try and match it back up again and go back down. It does it. Press on that bit that didn't get there. Doesn't have to be perfect, but that's better, and I filled those in. I put my ink, my stamp with my damp cloth. The ink is water soluble, so it will wash out. Now I've got a stamp on, I can measure corner to corner. Mark my first corner. Because it doesn't have to be an equilateral triangle. It can be shorter one side and longer the other. An isosceles, I've been whispered. Well done, Mr. Mathematician. But it depends on the size of book once again you're making it for. So if your book's a little tiny book and you do a whopping great bookmark, then it might not fit very well, or it might swallow up your page. So you can leave it like that, or you can maybe give it some shading with the green pencil, or you can even stamp it in green ink if you want to, if that's what you've got available. Right. So it's not making a huge difference but it just gives it that. And where I've restamped it, I've got a little shadow underneath, so that's another technique. If you do a second stamp, which a shadow stamp, then you can get a little shadow if it's slightly out of sync with the first one. You get a little underneath shadow, so that's another little technique that you can try. That's that side. A nice little leafy pattern. And some of these stamps have not been used before, so that's possibly why they're not stamping as nicely as I'd like them to. But to prime your stamp, if you just rub your fingers over the stamp and put your body oils on the stamp, it will take off the manufacturer's coating and prep your stamp a little bit. Out the top there. The ink won't hurt it, but it may transfer if you're doing different colours stamping onto the next item that you stamp. So it's not going to hurt it, but it will potentially transfer because they're water soluble, and when you put other inks over the top of it, it might reactivate it. So once again, this stamp hasn't been used yet, so I'm going to rub my fingers over it. Now I need to make sure.
What you should have. You have laugh on one side. Laugh.
Leaf love. Oh goodness.
Laugh.
Even laughs.
But it's live laugh, isn't it?
Live laugh, yeah.
Yeah, but leaf laugh.
Leaf laugh. Right, so my flower's not going to fit in there, so I'm just going to use the love.
Laugh about it.
That's going to fit there nicely. Now you could put. Yes, I know what I'm going to do. 1 second, I will do this. I've got some green ink. I'm going to put the love in the black ink. Hopefully now I've primed it, it's going to be working nicely. So this is a nice effect on the stamp. Got a little pattern inside the letters, which highlights it nicely. So now I want to make sure I've got it the right way up. Now my leaf is coming down like that. My bookmark is going to be like that. So I'm putting my bookmark corner of this for the minute. I'm putting my bookmark on the page. How's it going to sit? Do my lettering. So if I do my lettering like that, it's not going to be upside down. Okay. Put it in the middle of. The ink will dry eventually, but it does have a little bit of time on it for you to get the. Now I'm not pushing too hard, just nice and gently. Try not to rock it, and then lift straight up. Oh yes, that's a lovely image, like that one. Might be using that one again. Now, with the rose, you can stamp off the edge of things. So what I thought is if I did the rose, black ink, and I can stamp on the corners, and I'll just get a partial one each time, and I can change the image round. You don't need a huge amount of ink. Try and close my ink pad each time so that I don't end up putting my fingers in it. Make sure you've got nothing around the edges that you're not going to stamp by mistake. Nice and level, and pop your image on. Now some of it will go on the page, some of it will go on the blue page, restamp, and then you have like a partial image. So we had the main body of the flower this time. We'll get a few leaves in this one. Next stamp, twist it around a little bit, and then you get your leafage. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then coming a bit further on the other one. So just because you have a stamp image, it doesn't mean to say you have to use the full image. You can use parts of it. You can mask off parts of it. So if you wanted to only have the top bit, then you can use a bit of paper to mask it. Those post-it notes are really good for that. Yeah, just our third image. You can do borders like this. It's quite fun, twisting the image so it gives you a slightly different facing to it. So there we go. So we have our leaf on one side. Maybe we could coordinate them and put some roses on the other side with the leaf. It's just so that they blend. Get carried away with my rosy stamp now, aren't I? Oh, it was Rosemary that suggested it, so a rose for the Rosemary. For my Rosemary. Bit on that corner. This little bit up on this corner. So that was slightly faded because it was a secondary stamp, but it's dark enough. And one last one. Now, if you were stamping on plain paper, opposed to the old magazine I've got here, you could use the overstamp and use it as a pattern paper afterwards. So you just get little images and gradually it will build up. They will layer on top of each other, and you can do that. Then they will stamp off your excess ink onto it, and you can build up little patterns like that. You can also make your own, oh, spoiler alert, make your own wrapping paper using stamps. Maybe that's an episode coming up, you never know. If you were interested, please let me know. I'll show you how I do it. It's always how I do it, from inspired ideas from other people, and I know there's no new ideas ever out in the world, but if it's something that I've thought of, then it may be something in my memory that I've seen in the past, but I can not necessarily remember who the idea came from. So I will accredit where I can, but I can't always accredit because I won't necessarily always remember where the idea comes from. So this one needs to dry. I don't think I'll edge this one because I think that one's quite pretty as it is. Now once the ink's dry, you could colour in the flowers if you chose to do so. We might do that if we have time. So now we get back to the other little ones. Need to glue some edges onto this one. So we decided we were going to do the little sparkly edges on this one. I'm going to use my Kalal glue. Set it run to the bottom. Oh, that was silly girl, wasn't it? Turn my glue page over because the ink on the glue, no, I just let that dry to one side and bring the other one because the ink on that is still a little bit damp and I've smudged some ink on my little bumblebee. What a shame. Glue that down. Dry. Oh, this time. This one's got the leaves. You can stamp an image in there if you want to, or you can come in with a die cut. Where are you? Die cut here. That would sit on there nicely. I'm going to glue him on, her on above the leaves. So. Nice. Get my Kalal out. Pretty sure you can get Kalal online, as well as other, sort of well-known craft shops.
What's Kalal?
Kalal is a type of glue. It's quite a strong glue. It's a sort of cross between white school glue, which is a good glue, but it doesn't necessarily stick
PVA
heavier stuff.
sort of?
Yeah, school glue's PVA glue, but Kalal is a little bit stronger, but it's between Beacon's 3-in-1 and school glue, so it's a sort of medium strength glue, and it holds heavier stuff like gems and decorations a little bit better than the PVA would, and it dries a little bit quicker as well.
Three different types of glue.
Oh goodness, so I've got the Kalal, I've got various glue sticks, I have Beacon's 3-in-1,
These three here.
I have super glues for my jewellery. I have E600, which is a glue that I use for my jewellery, and I have another glue which I can't remember the name, but it is a number again, 900 I think it is. Should we butterfly down? I have Mod Podge and fabric glue, yes. Also, you can stick things on with tapes, double-sided tapes. Just seeing if I can find a little gem to put in the middle of my butterfly, the body for it. We think, is that too big, do you think? Oh, a bit big, isn't it? Bit big. Got a smaller body for you, butterfly. Do you think it? A little wide. Needs to be short. That length is good, but maybe a little bit narrower. This red one. It's a slightly different shape. It's more of a abdomen shape, shall we say? Oh, that's better, isn't it?
Think on here.
Well, it's a sort of a reddy burgundy colour. The teardrop shape, but if you do it the upside down, it looks a bit like an abdomen. Oops. Catching the strings off my glue and not my magnifying glass of flying.
Oh, yeah.
Just call me Calamity Debs. Well, at least I haven't had a crafter launch yet.
Usually James. What, will you maybe err on the side of caution?
Oh, it gets worse. Believe me, it gets worse. Okay, so a little butterfly. I'm going to leave the other side plain. I will decorate it later, but I think time's marching on and you get the general idea. There's my... Let's see if we can find a plain bit of paper. Demonstrate these on. Display these on even. So we've got a bumblebee. Now with these markings, you can colour over them, put another sticker on them, or just leave them and embrace it. That's the other side. But unfortunately, I was a little bit rushed and I wasn't as careful as I could have been, and I managed to dunk him in the ink from the stamping. So, lesson learnt. But still quite cute. And then there we go. So, pop my lid on my gems before they go flying and test them out. Right. Pop you on the corner. So that one works nicely. You can also put it over several pages at once if you want to keep a group of pages. You can use them at work to mark out what pages you need to refer to or whatever. You don't have to use them for leisure. You can take them to the office and show off to all your friends, and they say, well, how did you make that? Where did that come from? And you can tell them all about it.
You don't have to make it, I mean, you can make them look pretty as well, but you can put like
They can be functional.
functional. You can put like what each section is. Sticky notes, but a bit more crafty.
That one looks pretty. I like that one. I think that's going to be my favourite so far. I do love the bumblebees, but because I smudged him, well, it's not his fault. Not his fault. Sorry, bumblebee.
Smudge.
Smudge the bumblebee. There we go. It wasn't his fault. He didn't ask to be smudged. Oh, there we go. So, it just remains me to say much love, everybody, and take care of yourselves, and bye-bye till next time.